I'm Anastasia Ellis.
I'm Alexi Moon Cassell, aka Crescent Moon, and this is
Voices in the Back. Over the next few weeks, we'll be having conversations with BIPOC Minnesota artists on the topic of racial issues, and at the end, a performance.
We'd like to thank all our sponsors for their support.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter using our handle @VoicesInTheBack.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Alexi Moon Cassell.
And I'm Anastasia Ellis.
Welcome to Voices in the Back. We are blessed to have Timisarocker, David Hamilton. Thank y'all for being here tonight.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Likewise.
All right, let me start off with just a little icebreaker. So, one, what has been keeping the both of you busy and occupied and your hopes up during the pandemic? Let's start with David.
What's keeping me busy and occupied is we laid off 80% of our staff. So someone had to pick up the slack. And
the staff where, just to...
at the Cedar Cultural Center.
Gotcha.
And what kept me energized was that we had the opportunity and the support to address some important issues around racial justice with our programming and with the board. So we created a racial justice statement, and we did some really unique things we never did before. We kind of handed over our online programming to the Artist Collective, a group of 6 BIPOC artists, to do programming that was, a reaction to George Floyd and what was going on. So they did a lot of meaningful things. And we kind of put the Cedar in a new direction during that time, which needed to happen, but now we were able to get the financial support, the support from the community and the board and society. So it just opened up opportunities for us, and that was energizing. So
amazing. Yeah. What about you, Tim?
Well, what has kept my hopes up is practically nothing. It really was like rough in the beginning of the pandemic because, as an artist, like you're on autopilot. You don't really think about how tired you are or anything like that. And, you're just kind of like going, show, like appearance. And then when everything shut down and I just watched all of my gigs slowly go away, it kind of put me into like a very depressive state for the longest time. And a lot of the time during like the height of the pandemic, I didn't really want to continue pursuing music. I didn't, think that we were ever going to get back on stage at any point in time soon. So it really did take like a big step back, and I had to like reflect on everything I've done so far, looking at all of my old performance videos and just, really getting in my anxiety and just being like, oh God, this is really cringy. I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. And then, as like we've gotten out of the pandemic, well, we're still in it. I just got to make sure that's on camera. We're still in the pandemic. Get the vaccine. But the thing about like slowly coming out of it, you find more opportunities, and then you realize that you still have people that support you, and there are still people out there that want to see you succeed and want to see you shine. And that has really given me hope throughout the whole pandemic, is that, what musicians do, especially in the Twin Cities, is really, really important. And, going forward, especially with a new album coming, there is no way to like not be on autopilot anymore. You got to really kind of continue like pushing forward and, try to get out of your head. And it's really hard, especially after going through a traumatic event like we all did for, what was it, a year and a half. We were on pause from doing a lot of social activities. That's really rough,
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely a dark period I feel like everybody, yeah.
And can I add that hearing that kind of story and stories like that was kind of a reason why the Cedar felt we had to keep programming going to support artists during this time who didn't have other options. And even though we had our hall closed, we wanted to do programming any way we could for the artists to support them. So
beautiful. Mm-hmm. With now going to everything that's going on in the pandemic, especially when George Floyd and Dante Wright were killed. How do you feel that that has changed not only the globe, but also what's going on here in Minnesota? Let's start with Tim. Yeah.
Well, I've noticed a lot more performative allyship, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. I guess a good thing from it is that more non-BIPOC people are like aware of their surroundings and they're being extra diligent to like prove to the next white person next to them that they're not racist. And that's, a good thing for us black folk. That's a good thing for us people of color who just want to get grapes at the grocery store, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you're like, if it's not rooted in like realness, then it just doesn't solve anything. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's just one of those things that I have noticed personally. But either way, it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable conversations that need to happen in order to like solve so many issues that come up all the time in black people's lives and BIPOC people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree completely. What about you, David?
Yeah, let me just kind of add on to that in a similar way, because the door is open, but people were rushing to do something and not knowing really what to do or what it was. And for me, I stress that the Cedar has to support racial justice, equity. That means to me that we have to take steps to address disparities. Because if we're not going to change any outcome for BIPOC people, then it's pointless. It's not enough to make anti-racist statements or say you're not racist or this or that. We have to have change. So part of our goal was to create access for artists who don't get access normally in our stage. We were very careful. I was trying to be very careful in what we were doing in terms of, there's a lot of organizations rushing out and making statements and putting out ways that they were going to move forward. But again, I wanted to make ways that we would really follow up on, and we could really live up to, and that would be really impactful for the artist and for our community. So it's really about the change in outcomes and access. So it was a challenging period too. I had a lot of organizations reach out to me who wanted to collaborate, but they had not always a good idea of ways to collaborate. They were sometimes saying, well, you have access to the Somali community, or you have access to this, and you've done this programming, so help us get there. And it's really tough work for organizations. You have to do more than just make statements and put it on your website and claim you're doing this or that. So it took us a while to do it. We were like months behind other organizations in doing that statement and thinking about the work. And it's still an ongoing challenge for us. And it's going to be a process. So.
But you wanted it to be authentic, so
yes,
you
exactly.
took your time with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely most important with it. What are some changes that you want to continue to see, or changes that you haven't seen in Minnesota that you want to see?
Again, I would say we have to see a change in the great disparities in health and education and employment, and what we were focusing on, which is meaningful to us, which was something we could directly impact, was access and change in the music community. So we gave access in different ways that I was able to get money to direct to doing a indigenous music series, for example, which we did earlier this year, which I probably wouldn't have been able to get the support for doing a local. We've had funding for indigenous, but it was global indigenous. And I was saying, well, we have in our back door the Native American or indigenous, and I'm getting into the issue we had because a lot of these artists refer to themselves differently, some as indigenous, some as Native, some as American Indian. We let the artists decide how they want to be identified and what they want to address. Some of them didn't want to address or deal with issues around racial justice and whatnot. So it's really about what the community wants to do. And I'll stop there. I don't know if I completely answered your question. Or, okay.
No, you really did.
I mean, to also piggyback on that, a lot of what you said also has a lot to do with visibility, and I do think a lot of what the Twin Cities could work better at is just more access to visibility. There are a million bands and artists here, white dudes with guitars, white girls with ukuleles, who get, played on The Current 24/7, and there is a lot of support for people of color who are in the art field, but there isn't that much hype behind them, and there isn't a lot of outward support unless it's like a small blurb in something or somebody retweets something. Like if there was more attention spent to those people so that they can shine just as much as the other artists here in the cities who make good music or don't make good music regardless. Visibility is really important, and having people that look like them, people that they identify with, non-binary people of all types of identities that are open and that are honest about who they are. That way others can see them. I think the Twin Cities could really benefit from taking advantage of the vast majority of the different types of artists here, other than the same. You know what I mean?
Yes, agreed.
I was thinking of this generational difference. So I work with 8th graders in the cities, and 2 students today got in a little scuffle, nothing too serious. One was white, one Latinx, and the white kid who wasn't even getting accused of being called racist, but he's like, you calling me racist? He's like, I spent an hour at a BLM march. I was marching for an hour. And it was funny because in my head I was like, I'm not gonna laugh right now because I want to support this kid and I'm going to. Well, first off, I was like, damn, from my 8th grade experience to this, that's some shit. Yeah. And also, like, props to you for, saying the thing. Right. And then it was also like, that's dope. And I hope you don't think that's the end of the line too. Yeah. Like, keep building. Totally. Anyways, Tim, I was going to talk about your music. So very eclectic sound. Where did the influence come from? Can you just talk a little bit about kind of your origin story in music? Yeah.
Well, I was born and raised in Atlanta, and as far as music is concerned, my mother was a choir director for the little kids choir, so I always grew up singing all the time. My older sister was in the school band. She played the clarinet, I think. Oh, gosh. One of those instruments that you go like that to. And
the oboes.
One of them. I think the oboe is very rich, so probably not the oboe. But because she had to like practice at home, we had like a little Casio keyboard from Toys R Us or whatever. And I remember growing up and like tinkering on those keys and not knowing at all what I was doing, but writing music and singing. And I was raised in the church to sing. I always got the solo. Even if I didn't deserve it. And I think growing up, my sister went off to college. It was just me and my little brother. We would always sing together. We would record voicemail messages, things, like leave a message at the beat, but we had like a little song for it. So I was always like singing and doing extra things that no kid should have been doing, making parodies on YouTube. And I always felt like the odd person out in Atlanta. Is very like gospel oriented, country oriented, or rap oriented. And when my sister moved away to college, I was able to sit in the front seat of the car finally, in the passenger seat next to my mom, and I got to control the radio. And I discovered rock music. I was familiar, but I wasn't like too deep into it. And I was like, this is really fun. This is like really like edgy and like angry, like a 14-year-old like me is, who doesn't understand what the world is doing right now. And I remember growing up and being told you're an Oreo for liking rock music, or you try to be like a white boy. And my mother is actually the one who coined the phrase Timisarocker, because I was playing rock music, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's like, "Oh, you didn't know Timisarocker?" And ever since then, I've always like felt like a rock star, and I've always wanted to like be a rock star and fuck the establishment and like really just like be that motherfucker who's like a rock star. And as like time has gone on and rock has become like a secondary genre nowadays, it's really tough to like stay motivated because nobody is really like checking for rock music unless you're like in a Chevrolet commercial or something like that. And I'm trying to change that like really badly. Like with this new album that's coming next year, by the time you all are seeing this, I'll hopefully have a single ready. Don't hold me to it if it's not there. But I spent like, what was it, 3.5 to 4 years. The pandemic really did put a number on that too. But I spent like 3.5 years with my band, really fine-tuning like all of the songs that we wrote, and making sure that like it's as marketable as possible, it's as catchy as possible, it's like pop adjacent as possible. Because I'm trying to like get those streams, I'm trying to get those follows, I'm trying to get a Grammy. You know what I mean? Like rock music should not be a secondary genre anymore, especially for Black people. Because you know, like I said before, visibility is so important. And as someone who identifies and is in the race that started all types of music, being an innovator, it's time to bring like rock and grunge and punk like back to the forefront. And it needs to be from someone that looks like me. So fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, honestly, no, and I feel that. I feel like it's definitely come back like in certain ways in the mainstream, and like yeah, I agree that there needs to be like a person of color face there. So I hope that is you.
Me too. So stream Timisarocker
Yeah, exactly.
everywhere you stream music.
Get on Spotify, iTunes, whatever the title, whatever you.
Oh yeah, I'm everywhere. What they said. Timisarocker. Timisarocker.
Nice. We'll put like a graphic across the screen right there.
Little like what is it, infomercial or whatever. Come on.
David, can you speak a little bit about, you know, being the new executive director at the Cedar, just some of the missions, like initiatives you want to see come to life in that position and in that space?
Yes, that's a big question, but
Sorry,
I'll do it quick, as you said.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a little over 3 years now. A lot has happened. I've been through transition, or after transition, and then it was the pandemic, and we just reopened. One thing we were planning before the pandemic was a way to support artists. This came out of our artist collective, and I'm talking a lot about them because that was what was big this last year for us. Where we were thinking, and some of these artists were telling us, you know, we don't necessarily have the experience and skill set to write the grants or to make the websites, to get, you know, the bookings and know how to do bookings. So that's what we were trying to help the artists with during the artist collective. And we were looking at doing a mentoring program with artists, like, you know, this is how you write grants. This is the grants you can go after. I used to be a grant writer. I still do some grant writing for the Cedar. And I could help along that line, and another staff person was going to help with, you know, how to set up a website and you do the marketing. So that's something we want to get back to. But what happened has been a challenge for us is programming funds basically dried up during the pandemic. So we've been surviving on government funds and whatnot, but we hope they come back soon, and that we can start doing some of the other programming that we put on hold. So we're still doing some really important programming that we had either funds for that are outside the state, like our Cedar Commission artists. You know, we still support emerging artists every year through that program, and we did it online last year in early this spring, and now we can go back to doing it live, which is, you know, great. So we really are focusing on how to support the neighborhood and the community too, because, you know, we're really a part of the neighborhood. We've done a lot of programming in the Somali community. We just ended our music mentoring, which was a a program that took Somali artists into the to schools and child care centers to mentor them on learning music. But our funding ended for that. It was a carryover money from before the pandemic. So we want to start that back up. And we just want to get back our show roster. You know, we bring a lot of international artists, and the pandemic has really hurt the tour routes. So all of that has not started up. And then the pandemic, you know, we had an artist cancel the day of because someone on the tour bus got COVID. Ticket sales are down, you know, still. It's a challenging time still. I mean, and now we know Minnesota is like, has the fastest rate of infection right now. There's been news this week. So some of us feel like, oh, things are back, but they're still very challenging. So it's all within light of what's going on of the pandemic. But, you know, we are going to survive and move forward. And, you know, we have been really blessed from the support of our funders and donors and the volunteers and the staff and everybody who's come back. And so people want the Cedar to survive because of what it means to people and what it does. And we're many things to many people. We still do our folk music, and we've had some great folk shows. And people have not been scared to come back to the community, which we were worried about, and it's felt safer since the pandemic. So that's been good, too. I went on a tangent there, but
No, that's good. We encourage that. I mean, yeah, the Cedar, it's in such a culturally important spot. The West Bank of Minneapolis, such a rich history there. I love how it does this kind of bleed into the venue. It's like one and the same. Are there any, maybe this is too random, are there any like certain acts or just things happening that you've seen from your position where you're like, this is exciting, I wish more people knew about that this was happening? I'm just curious if anything kind of came across your radar.
with shows or?
Yeah.
I always get put on the spot, and I was like, you know, I don't book shows. I tell people are like, hey, can I get a gig? I was like, man, I don't book. Because I'm a musician, and I'll never play the Cedar, I tell them, to make them feel a little better. I played the 400 last time. I'm sorry, I keep on saying 400 when I mean Palmer's Bar. And we got Tony out there. As a little shout out to him. He's the last person who hired me to play, and I think he's chilling out there. We're trying to do. I'll do a surprise kind of announcement now. I don't know when this is going to air, but
Hey, exclusive. Here we go.
we are working on a free show, kind of year-end celebration. For the community and everybody. We have many communities, and we're trying to do a show with Malamania, like a free show to bring them in and, you know, just have a celebration of surviving the year and starting the next year. So that's something we met over a happy hour with, you know, one of the band members, Jesse, and we're planning that. I'm not sure when it's going to happen because it's kind of hectic right now, but look out for that.
Do you need an opener? We are available. I'm saying this now so that there's evidence. If there's anybody else booked, I will feel
I'm
personally
networking
attacked.
right
I'm
now.
just kidding. No, it's fine.
I will introduce you to the booker.
Fantastic.
I can bend his arm a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we've actually played the Cedar Cultural Center once. It was, I think, 2019 over Memorial Day weekend. We had 4 gigs where I had to like travel from Minnesota to Wisconsin and Minnesota to Wisconsin. And the Cedar Cultural Center is one of the best stages other than the Hook and Ladder.
It's so true. Yep.
It's so cool there. Like, I like to kick and split and jump and flip and all that stuff, and there's so much space at the Cedar Cultural Center for that. And the visuals that you all just pick for, like, the artists that didn't know that there was going to be a projector, like, it's so cool there. The sound is fantastic there. Like, the vibe there is so fun, and I would love to play there again. I know you just said you're not in the booking part of it, so my people will talk to your people, the other people, and then we'll get it going.
Yeah.
So,
Very resilient.
I love the networking time right here. It was beautiful. I was just like, oh hell yeah. Well, let me just say before I go to my last question, thank you both for being up here and being on Voices in the Back. We both appreciate it so much. So to close it out, if you want to let me know, you kind of already let me know what's kind of going on with you in the Cedar. But still, what else is going on? If there's anything that you want to plug, yeah. Want to start, David? Yeah.
Well, I'll direct people to our calendar. Look at thecedar.org. We have a lot of shows coming up that we had to postpone during the pandemic. And I was thinking about other things today, and when I'm put on the spot, I can't think of what shows we have coming up in the next months. But there's a lot of great shows and a lot of things we're going to be excited about to present, in addition to the Malamania celebration concert, which will happen sometime. And we want to continue doing programming for the community and a lot of unique things that we've been doing. So that's what we're looking forward to. And we're just happy to be where we are, where we reopened. We got a new floor, we got new carpeting, we have a new roof. So we went through a lot during this year.
Nice. That's an upgrade. Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, what about you, Tim?
Well, Timisarocker is coming out with a new album called Up Next in 2020. What year are we in now? 2022. Mm-hmm. The pandemic, it really just screwed up.
Are you sure it's
What
not
is time?
2024?
Okay, let me be real. I don't even know what today is. Wednesday, yes. But in 2022, we are releasing our third studio album. Technically, it'll be our first studio album with the members that we have now, the members that I'm keeping forever. You all are not allowed to leave me. It's going to be really fantastic. It's going to be called Up Next. Our first single is coming out in January, fingers crossed. And we hope that it gets as far as possible. And I'm very, very excited for it. It's been 4 years in the making. We've worked with so many different producers. We've had to reschedule things and postpone things due to the pandemic. We just shot a couple music videos, so we're trying to do everything by the book, as right as possible, so that when the release is ready, there's as much to offer as possible. So be on the lookout for Up Next by Timisarocker in 2022. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you both for your contributions in music.
Thank
Love
you
y'all.
both
Yeah.
for having us here.
Thank you so much.
It was fun.
Of course. Peace.
What does he got that I don't got? A sense of self-control and a bunch of fancy toys. And I know he's worked hard and he's gone far. But I'm giving you my soul, cause I don't have any goals. Just to have it all, and keep it all. Can we share? Or do you care? I have it all too. That could include you. What do you say? What do you say? Oh, so you think you're better than me? Take my money. So you think you're better than me? Well, here, take all my money. Damn, so you think you're better than me? Take my money. Damn, so you think you're better than me? Well, here, take all my money. What does he got that I don't got? More room to move around, cause his roof don't touch the ground. Give him his props, cause he's got chops. But it just wasn't my fault when the night came to a halt. And I'm insecure to sing your key signature, but I'll try. Will you come by? I'm no lucky charm, but I've worked on your farm. I have the rights. That's what you like. Oh, so you think you're better than me? Take my money. Whoa, so you think you're better than me? Well, you take all my money. Damn, so you think you're better than me? Take my money. Bam, so you think you're better than me? Well, you take all my money. Yeah. not who you think I am, but you do not think I can make a scene. From what you've seen, the times I fell through were because of you. Your eyes are green, forever green. I think I'm too sensitive, or have a short temperament's not enough of what you trust. I gave you so much of most of my ducks, but I still ask, and I still ask just to have it all and keep it all. I'm insecure like you. What does he got that I don't got? Oh, so you think you're better than me? Take my money. Whoa, so you think you're better than me? Well, here, take all my money. So you think you're better than me? Take my money. So you think you're better than me? Well, here, take all my money. Oh, so you think you're better than me? No, sir, you are not better than me. Oh, so you think you're better than me? No, sir, you are not better than me. Questions are posed and strangling roses, thorns inside my fingertips. Wickedness dreading, crying at weddings, it helps with the insulin. I see it coming, my eyes are shut and blinded by the ignorance. By definition, I am indifferent. Who is the omnipotent? Who are you? Know that I am invincible. I don't wanna be famous, but I just want you to know my name. I don't wanna be nameless, but I don't wanna be known for fame. I don't know what I've gotten myself into this time, but I'm only 27. I'm too young to die. Come on. Here's my opinion, nobody needs it, but it's on the nightly news. I'm not a doctor, tell me what bothers, speak out for the children. And in the media, it's nice to meet you, the boxing, the idiot. Showcasing talent, put in a basket, let's go for a picnic. Ooh, you know that I am invincible. I don't wanna be famous, but I just want you to know my name. I don't wanna be nameless, but I don't wanna be known for fame. I don't know what I've gotten myself into this time, but I'm only 27. I'm too young to die. Come on. Oh my God, maybe it's an overdose. Did they know they would hit the final note? What a shame. Everything was going over and all they had to do was go hit the 27 club. Oh my God, maybe it's an overdose. Did they know they would hit the final note? What a shame. Everything was going over and all they had to do was go hit the 27. Who are you? No, I am invincible. Yeah. I don't wanna be famous, but I just want you to know my name. I don't wanna be nameless, but I don't wanna be known for fame. I don't know what I've gotten, no, myself into this time, but I'm only 27. I'm I'm only 27. I'm too young to die. Come on. Oh my God, maybe it's an overdose. They know they would hit the bottle note. What a shame. Everything was going over. Now they had to deal with what. So here's the 27 Club.